living in the God realm. Although we are on earth, the Bible calls us pilgrims on the face of the earth. While we are walking on the earth, God expects us to bring the realities and the dimensions of His realm into our space. And that's what determines our essence and our functionality. We are not earthlings. We are beings of eternity. And we are expected to live on earth in that order. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And He said, let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So you see that God placed us in the earth, but He didn't expect the forces of earth and this realm to dominate us. He placed us here, but He expected us to bring the reality of the civilization of heaven to dominate this realm. So if you leave this realm dominated, it means you are not functioning according to the plan of God. You were put here to dominate this realm. And dominating this realm means you are living in this realm by the modalities of another realm. So you are a creature of eternity, expected to bring the realities of eternity into time. Let me show you the features of the realm that I speak of. The realm of your nativity, where you came from. I know you have been on earth for long, so they told you this is where you came from. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. If this is where I came from, how come nothing here satisfies me? If this is where I came from, how come the things I see are not animated from here? If this is here where I came from, how come the things that sustain me are beyond the things produced from this realm? You came from a dispensation, and these are the attributes of the realm you came from. Number one, that realm is an eternal realm. It's a realm that has no beginning and no end. It's a realm that its reality is not fragmented into past, present, and future. It's a realm that its reality is superior to yesterday and tomorrow. In Isaiah 57 verse 15, the Bible said, the high and the lofty one that inhabited eternity. When He introduced Himself, He said in Revelation 1:8, I am Alpha, I am Omega, I am beginning, I am end. We came from a realm that is eternal in nature. You are an eternal being. You came from an eternal dimension. Don't let time intimidate you. Do the best you can do now. Time is a currency. But in case you suffer a lapse, that should not be the reason why you give up. You are eternal. Number two, the realm we came from is a realm of light. And what that means is that this realm is governed by purity and revelation. So long as your garment is pure, and so long as you know, nothing can be impossible to you. Because that realm is regulated by purity and by light. In John chapter 1, the Bible told us why Jesus had so much authority. It was because of this reality. He said in the beginning, if you read from verse 1, He said was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was with God in the beginning. All things were made by Him. Without Him was not anything made that was made. In Him was life. He said, but that life has an operational modality, is illumination. He said the life was the light of men. And He said that light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. There is nothing too hard for you, sir. Anything you can't do now, there's something you don't know. The moment you know, you can do it. So in this realm, impossibility does not exist. Everything that you have not yet known is just a mystery. The moment light comes to you, you too can produce results. Number three, this realm is a realm of love. There's no wickedness. There's no selfishness. There's no competition. Please become everything you can be. It doesn't limit me. All of us are kings. All of us are priests. All of us are light. Yet, there's no limitation for anybody. 1 John 4:16 says, God is love. And He said, him that dwelleth in love, dwelleth in God. So it's a realm itself. It's not just a person. It's a realm. And that's not all. It's also a realm of truth. There's no gimmick here, sir. If he says the blind see, the blind see. It's not trying to create impression. If he said the weak is strong, the weak is strong. It's not a manipulation. In fact, this truth does not just define us, it purifies us. It said, thou shalt sanctify them with thy word. John 17:17. It said, for thy word is truth. And that word that is truth, Psalm 119 verse 89, thy word, O Lord, is settled in heaven forever. So the realm of God is a realm of truth. Number 5 is a realm of glory. In John 17 verse 5, Jesus drew our attention to the ancient reality of that realm. He said, O Father, glorify thou me with thy own self, and with the glory which I had with you before the foundations of the world. So when we were together before creation began, the transactions we had were in glory. And when we speak of glory, it means, number 1, the essence of God. Number 2, the majesty of God. Number 3, the splendor of God. And number 4, the praise that belongs to God. Of these 4, 3 of them is available to all of us. It's only praise that we give to him exclusively, because he bears the prerogative of being source. So everything that happens, we ascribe to him. But outside of praise, essence, majesty, and splendor are all shared. That's why you are seated with Christ in heavenly places. It's a realm of majesty. It's a realm of glory. It's also a realm of dominion. Psalm 145 verse 13. It said, thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. It's a realm of government. It's a realm, number 7, of creation. It's a creative realm. That realm, you are not limited by what is present. When something is needed and is not present, it can be brought to bear. Because it's a realm of creation. Everything you see today came from that realm. In Hebrews 11:3, it said, through faith we understand that the worlds were created by the word of God. And it said, the things which are were not made out of the things which do appear. So that realm is a realm that cannot be limited, because the force of creation dwells there. It's a realm of faith. That means what you believe is what you have, not what you see. It's a realm of faith. You know why many believers struggle? They have been made creatures of the realm of God, but they are trying to live like creatures of this realm. So they are left in a dilemma, because they are trying to do what is in the realm of God, either when they think they are of this realm, or they know they are of that realm, but they love to live like creatures of this realm. So there is a confusion in their manifestation. It's a realm of spirits. It's a God is spirit. Where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. 2 Corinthians 3, you read verse 17 and 18. God is spirit. Where the spirit. So it's a realm of spirit. The laws that governs functionality in the realm of God. There are 12 laws that makes for living in the God realm. That means living heaven on earth. Number 1 is the law of ordinance, or what you call the law of the ways of God. If you want to live in the realm of God, you must adopt the ways of God. If you don't function and live based on the ordinances of God, you will not manifest the realities of the realm of God. This is the problem of many believers. They don't function by the ways of the Spirit. They don't function by the ordinances of the Spirit. Yet they want to command the results of the Spirit. And so they become confused as to why the things they believe they don't see happen. The Bible speaking concerning Moses, who understood that realm, in Psalm 103 verse 7, he said he made known his ways unto Moses. He said, but his acts unto the children of Israel. They saw the miracles. They experienced it. They saw the signs. They saw the wonders. But they didn't know the realm. Because the ways of God speaks of his ordinances, his laws, his principles, and his patterns. So anybody who will live in God's realm must live by his ordinances, his principles, his laws, and his patterns. If you don't know his ways, you can't live from his realm. This law is what the scholars call the law of spiritual paradox, or the law of counterintuition. You enter a realm where everything happening is contrary to your thinking, because the Bible said, my ways are not your ways. Isaiah 55 verse 8. Neither my thoughts your thoughts. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. So if you will walk in that realm higher than this realm, then your mind must be upgraded to think how it thinks. Let me give you some of the operational modalities that works here. Number one, in this order, you give to receive. Many can never understand it. The Bible said, him that stole shall steal no more. Ephesians 4:28. It said, let him rather walk with his hand, that he may have to give. So God encourages walking. But you see, there is a realm of provision that is beyond your hard work. When you want to operate where there is supernatural provision, the modalities change. Number two, under this law, you die to live. Many can't understand. You come to a realm where the measure of life that flows out of you is directly proportional to the death that you embrace. So anything you don't die to, you can't possess. Any level of death you don't suffer, you can't see life. And then you are wondering, what is the meaning of this? This is how they live in the God realm. In the God realm, you don't live to live. You die to live. See the way the Bible puts it. John 12:24. Except the corn of wheat falls to the ground and die, he said he abides alone. You see why selfish men cannot have ranking in this realm? Because they don't know the ordinance. Number three, you serve to lead. Matthew 23 verse 11. He said, he that will be the greatest among you shall first of all be your servant. If you are not a servant, you can never be a leader. Number four, exhortation is a function of humility. You go down to go up. 1 Peter 5 verse 6. It says, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. In due season, it says God will exhort you. The one who exhorts men, he will first of all see humility in you. Number 6, based on this law, in the realm of God, strength is in weakness. Strength is in weakness. In 2 Corinthians 12, you read verse 9 and 10. You hear Paul speaking. When he was trusting God for strength, this is what God said to him. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So Paul said, most gladly therefore I will rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest on me. Verse 10, he said, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distress. He said, for Christ's sake, for when I am weak, he said, then I am strong. You know the mystery of this realm? Every area where you think you are a master, that's where you fail. Because you will not depend on God. it will become your strength, not his strength. And when you run by your strength, the day you meet spirits, you will discover that the best of men is not a match for spirits. That's why in this kingdom, we glory in weakness. Because that weakness is what drives us to depend on God. Finally, under this law, you lose to win. Matthew 16:25. Whosoever shall save his life shall lose it. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. The second law for operating in the God realm is the law of the language of God. You can never operate in the God realm until you master the language of God. There's a way God talks. To live in the God realm, you must talk as God talks. Anybody who does not know how to talk in this kingdom cannot function in this kingdom. When you study your Bible, you are going to see 5 distinct ways that God talks in order for his realm to come alive. If you master it, you too will animate God's realm. Number 1, how does God talk? God speaks the end from the beginning. Isaiah 46 verse 9. Remember not the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, there is none like me. Verse 10. See how he talks. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the reason God speaks the end from the beginning is to secure his manifestation. Number 2, how does God talk? God speaks to see. You see to speak, but God speaks to see. So God can be seeing something. If he doesn't like it, he won't say it. And so long as he doesn't say it, that's not his reality. In Genesis chapter 1, I've told you already, verse 2, if not that Moses was the one writing, you would never have heard darkness. God would never pronounce darkness. It would have been in the beginning. God created the heavens and the earth, and God recreated the earth and said, light be. Look at you. It was Moses that said there was darkness, and the Spirit of God was moving upon the face of the deep. God never uttered that. When God wanted to speak, well, all of us are aware of darkness. Light be. And when God spoke, God saw it that it was good. Why didn't he see the darkness? That's not what he wants to create. That realm you say to see. Those who don't live in that realm, they see to say. Number 3, how does God speak? He calls those things that be not as though they were. Romans 4:17. See God speaking to an impotent man with a barren wife. As it is written, what would have been the right grammar? I will make you. Is that not the right English? I will make you a father of what? Many nations. But how did God speak? I have made thee. I have made thee a father of many nations. You are the one who wants to kill yourself with I will, I will. In the realm of God, it's not I will, it's I have. He calleth those things that be not as though they were. Number 4, how does God speak? God does not just speak, he names things. Because anything you name, you animate. So God did not just say to Abraham, I have made thee a father of nations. If you actually go to Genesis 17 verse 3, you are going to see how God really put it. God actually named him after that order. So God doesn't just speak those things that be not as though they were. He named them. Verse 5, Genesis 17. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations I have made thee. So he didn't just call those things that be not as those they were. He named it. Because anything you don't name, you can't animate. When you give names to things, you animate them. Number 5, how does God speak? God speaks thanksgiving before the manifestation. He doesn't wait to see the result before thanking or celebrating. Mark 11:24. He said, whatsoever ye desire. He said, when ye pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. Number 3, the law of nature. You can't function in a realm to which you are not giving the DNA to function. Every realm responds to a nature. When you find a creature operating in a realm, he has a nature that authorizes and commands allowance for him to function there. Because realms are sensitive to nature. For you to operate in the God realm, you must have the divine DNA. This is why God gave us his DNA when he created us. He said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion. Dominion is a reality of the God realm. But they can never have dominion except as they first of all have the nature of God. You can't have a nature and that nature does not dictate for you. Do you sleep because it's in your routine? You sleep because a point will come when your nature will compel you to sleep. Every nature has a law. The same way the nature of God in you now has a law. It will insist on holy living. It will insist on righteousness. It will insist on faith. If you violate it, the realm will withdraw from you. No matter how you talk about it, it won't happen. Because realms are regulated by the essence of the beings permitted to function in that realm. Number 4 is the law of recognition. If you will operate in a realm, you must not just recognize that realm. You must recognize the things of that realm that you have. Jesus taught them to pray, and this was his prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven. Our Father. You know what Father is? Pater, source, sustainer. Our source, our sustainer, which is in heaven. So Jesus recognized his source and the realm where the source came from. That is why, as he's connected to the Father, he's connected to that realm. In John 3:13, the Bible said, the Son of Man, which is in heaven. He was walking in Nazareth, but while in Nazareth, our Father, which art in heaven. He recognized his realm and the realm that sources his manifestation. If you don't recognize the realm where you came from and the things given to you from that realm, you will never manifest that realm. Do you live every day recognizing that you have the name that is above every name? Do you live every day recognizing that the spirit that created this universe lives on your inside? We have no consciousness, and so we violate the law of recognition. That's why we become religious men. So you see the guy praying, sweating, but he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know the realm he's praying from. At the end of the day, his whole prayer becomes about how long he can pray and how loud he can shout. But he finishes that drama and there is no token that reveals that he touched a realm. He finishes that religious activity. There is no sign that he drew something from a realm. Sometimes we finish praying, we don't even dare to expect change. Somebody comes to you and say, I'm sick. You close your eyes like a religious man. You lay your hands when you pray. Goodbye, you walk away. Why did you pray? You prayed because the person said he's sick. Now that you have prayed, you should expect that the sickness should have gone. But that's a religious man praying. He doesn't expect that the person should be healed. So he doesn't as much as ask the person to check. And if the person checks and says he's healed, the guy who prays is surprised. Really? So why were you praying? There is no recognition. There's no consciousness. If we will walk in the God realm, we must recognize that realm.